Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. How is everyone doing? Good afternoon, Davey. Hey, hey, waka waka. What a yo-yo day. We will review that in a bit, but I just want to say, how is everyone doing? See, a little mixed market today. Overall, red. I didn't think today was as bad as it could have been, actually, at all. Especially with the Fed still trying to tell the market they're serious, and the market's like, I don't really believe you. Don't believe you. I think when it's gonna slow down, you guys are gonna blink. What else? Data came out, but I think what took it down was Canada, a hike shock of 50 basis points. Uh, it had something to do with, but I don't think that was the major driver. Yeah, every Fed's going to have to be more aggressive. Inflation is just getting out of complete control. Then the damn Fed came out to talk the markets pump back up thanks to supposed hawk who wasn't that hawkish, but it did sound to me so found it that strange. I thought they were pretty hawkish. They're like saying, "Hey, we're going to get this thing 3.5% or more, and we're not going to blink." But the market's not buying it. The market is not buying it in my perspective. I mean, you had a little pullback today, and we'll look at that in a second. But this was, propped up pretty well. We did not trigger on a closing basis that NASDAQ double top. So, we got to trade what is. And if you want to find out what we're watching, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term subscribers, please, please, please come back and leave some comments after the stream is over and like or dislike the videos. We are attracting new people. We want to keep that growing so we can have a really solid community of traders and investors who really want to do proper analysis. So I'll sit there. Again, thank you for everybody who is already leaving comments. I do appreciate it. Barkin, you can't find a recession in the data actions of business execs. you know, it's gonna hit. What else did Barkin say? I can't. This must have just come out right now. Perfectly comfortable with path of rate hikes for next couple of meetings. Oh, is this going to go like slightly dovish again just for a couple meetings? Markets headed lower for sure, but Fed setting a straight down instead of an orderly sell over many months. Hey, let's see. What is funny is the market not believing the Fed at all, but I think this time the Fed is 100% serious. I think they're serious. Bob thinks they're serious. I don't think they can blink this soon. Have you seen in California? There's some places with gas over $8 a gallon. It's gonna start hitting hard, and food inflation is just gonna ramp up. There's not gonna be many places to hide, and even if it drops down a bit, it's still gonna be at sustained level for quite some time. Seems like the market's reversing the close around 50 to 62 from yesterday's high to low today. Feel like we're headed low first to test the most recent lows. The only bearish pattern I have is that double and then potential double and then, well, it's a confirmed double but not triggered in the NASDAQs. We can glance on Lulu. They have earnings tomorrow. Good evening, Anissa. Thank you for being here. Hey, Chris, how are you doing? Really in a curious case, Michael says. Hey, Dan Jett. Greatest man in the market. Who are you talking about, Chris? Hey, Christoph, I saw your little question about crude. Thanks for the great analysis. You are welcome, Joseph. Again, thank you for everybody new who is here. So, I guess somebody is at my front door. Fantastic. Right in the middle when I start the live stream. Tomorrow we have employment numbers, ADP numbers coming out at 7:15 Central, continuing jobless claims at 7:30, and initial jobless claims. Unless there's a big shock, I don't think that's going to do. Factory orders, minor tomorrow. Crude numbers are going to be pretty interesting. And then we have two more Fed speaks. The Fed, they just won't stop speaking. I wish they'd have one. Can we just not have Fed speakers every day at this point? Logan speaking at 11 and Mester speaking at 12. By the way, today, I already talked at lunch, we had those mentioned the ISM numbers and everything else. The Beige Book, which came out, that highlighted a lot of potential slowdowns. A lot of slowdowns. So all this talk that there's nothing, there's no. You mean go back and look at the how much the word slowing is mentioned in the Beige Book. Again, Microsoft up a little, Apple down a little, sort of just mixed. Amazon still hitting the second target on that double. Facebook dropping, COO leaving. Oil still strong. Again, I'd recommend not specific trading advice or investing advice because I can't give that to you, but from my perspective, it's continued to raising up a trailing stop, and you got to stick with it until we really get the pattern. FOMC still baked in with that 50 basis points and still in negative gamma territory. After hours today, we have GameStop, which I know missed and was up. That's the other thing. Until things like GameStop with a pretty hefty miss and it's up a decent amount after hours. As long as that's still going on, we're nowhere near a bottom. I don't know if anybody else wants to look. I know, where was it? Hewlett-Packard Enterprise missed and was down also. Tomorrow morning, not a lot. I'll check in on Hormel Foods from an inflation standpoint. So that's what I'm really going to be looking. And then we have Lululemon is the big one after the close tomorrow. So, I mean, we're down 87 basis points, but this is a pretty orderly pullback. Remember, cycles are at the top on the daily. We have a pretty orderly pullback so far. We tried to break to the upside this morning, could not do it. Did not get, here was the old defining point that I had on the trend line, and we did not get above that defining point. And then the momentum bars, which I covered at lunchtime, pretty much back to the 1 hour rotation zone, rotating lower. So overnight, really what I'm watching for is if we do break down, I'm watching for the next support zone about 40.48 to 40.51. If we drop below there, that would be a pretty big move in the European session. But the next major target would be 4,000. Not expecting that to happen over in the overnight sessions, but you got to prepare for anything these days. On a move back up, again, below the 4 hour rotation zone, tried to pop back in it and Dow back from support becoming resistance. So I would not be surprised to see it retest these lows from earlier today and watch to see if those hold. What else do we have before I keep going? Okay, hold on. I got to scroll back. You guys are chatty today. Resilience in the late afternoon is so bullish. Kramer this afternoon. Oh no, we're going down. Yes, Sheryl Sandberg is stepping down to Facebook COO. That's why it's off a bit. PM rally was weak. It wasn't fantastic. I thought, we held up better, especially with the NASDAQ. Again, that double on the 4 hour basis, I told you at lunch, I was watching for that to trigger. Did not. We had that little 15-minute double coming back up. And then this was just a little minor topping pattern right here, which was very sloppy, by the way, but definitely tradable. And you see pretty much the first and second targets are hit. So I would not be surprised even to see a slightly bigger pullback. What I'll be watching for in the NASDAQ is to see if we get that 4 hour close below this 12,480, because then I'm going to target a slightly bigger pullback before the potential next push higher. And then after that next push higher, one of the death rollovers. So that's really the targets that I'm watching overnight. Let's see what else. I am good. Okay, thank you, Chris. Wish Jimmy said short everything. Well, then it's the no-brainer case. So maybe Jimmy's going to cause the double to trigger. We're going to get that slightly bigger pullback. Again, this is tactical trading, and I can't stress that enough. You still have to pay attention to the bigger patterns. Like I'm still expecting higher prices based off these couple doubles that have triggered. And this is sort of a, I mean, now we're almost in a nice little channel pattern on the S&P. You know, it's a little weakish. It's a little weakish, but wrong one. But well, I'm going to keep an eye just on that to see if we slowly drift lower, how it reacts to that. Yeah, Jimmy said short everything. Fed Hawk Day admitted pumping so much in 2020, no matter what, it was a massive mistake and clearly made inflation much more aggressive than they thought. It's insane with the damn Fed. It is insane. And Yellen was, well, did you watch the Yellen stuff? It's like, oops, we got that wrong. Oops. Well, you're a little oops. You know, you should err on the side of, you know, not really messing up monetary policy that bad. Yeah, you do the opposite of Kramer. And if he's bullish on the stock, you're bullish on, time to aggressively move up your stop or get out. Not only do they cause this mess with inflation, but they want to mess with the stock market with their damn weekly talks. Each Fed one hawk, one dove, damn yo-yo. Yeah, I agree. It's ridiculous. You know what? Can we go back to the days where the Fed like spoke once a month or something? Jimmy Cramer, that show has never interested me for years. It's just I watch to see what other people say he's bullish or bearish on because I actually use it for trading advice in the opposite. Yeah, he's a fantastic contrarian indicator. Jimmy today said Fang stock's going to rally hard. Okay, those are done. Well, wait, we still got the double on Mike. Is Mike, did he say Fang or the Fang with the M in it? Because we still have Amazon, which came up second target hit. By the way, that potential little short-term double right here was invalidated with that gap. But that gap and then the run-up took it to the second target. So first and second targets are hit. And this is where I keep a more aggressive stop because again, we push higher, but I don't want a huge retrace in that pattern. That was that. What other thing do we have? Microsoft stopping at the first target. You see here, little gap up today. Run to the 50 and that first target and then reverse. So move up, stop on Microsoft. Again, educational purposes only. And if you want the safe way to do it, I always like to, if you want to give it room, especially since it only hit the first target, I always like to keep things on a closing basis below the 62.5. More aggressive basis. You don't want to get too aggressive because it can easily pull back to this area, especially in markets like this. So how do you account for that? You trade smaller position size. What else? And real quick, then we'll get back to the futures. NVIDIA. Again, not yet to the first target, but this is pretty much just a sideways 3-day correction so far. Not able to break down below the lows of the 27th and fill the gap. So even if you do come back to this area, that's still key and has not hit the first target yet. So you still want to keep a fairly substantial stop with a small position size down here below with this volatility. Dow, I'm going to flip back over here. Dow, again, coming back down that 50 and that harmonic at this point. I'm going with the slightly bigger harmonics just to see if we did continue the sell-off. So if we break below 32,560 area, 32,454, but major, we have a triple cluster down here, 32,342 to about 32,400. To the upside, I need it to really get a move back on about 33,200. Without a bottoming pattern, I need a rotation back about 33,200 to get really bullish or short-term bullish. Russell, Russell, we come up, just missing that first target, coming back down to the trigger pattern on this sloppy double. Still going to watch for a rotation back up. Odds still favored that move back up. Crude. Christoph, you asked for the August contract. I'll just do the continuous second month forward. On a 4-hour basis, I saw that in Discord. There's no real good left-hand shoulder. This, and with this double hump and no real solid left-hand shoulder, I would not trade this as a head and shoulders or a potential head and shoulders. Not at all. Where did that come back to? Not at all. Right to that 62.5. I would just trade if it starts breaking down. See, even breaking below this 112 area, you got major support of 111. Below 111, you have an interesting potential move down. But until it got below there, and this is the second forward month. It's not the first month, which is July. The second forward month is August right now. So looking at the first month, again, there's, even with this little topping pattern coming in here, remember we had that spike up and a re-spike. No close above the channel yet, so I still am watching for a potential pullback in crude. But we keep making this pattern of higher lows and higher highs to try to edge on up. So there's nowhere, anything to the downside is just a bearish scalp or looking to reposition for a longer term bullish move. And my next major area I'll be watching is back to about 111.72 to 112. Notes. Daily, I'm watching that daily close. Did not close on that daily about below the 62.5, so I'm still keeping an eye on that. Note still trading. That's the key level. If we get the close below that, the head and shoulders is off the table without even hitting the first target. So we'll see, though. It's holding up at this support level. That's what I'm keeping an eye on. Since this was triggered on a daily basis, I need a daily close below that level. And if we did get that daily close below that level, it then would technically favor a return to 117.23 area. Dollar index pushing on up the next target. I'm still watching if we get any follow through. 103 is what I said before, 103.18 to 103.64 for the next rollover play. Can't get bullish until we get a close above the 62.5 level. VIX, again, it's there isn't much fear. It got a little pop and then back lower. I'm still, to get this next leg up on the rally, we need to break below this 25 area. We really need to see that. This so far is very strong support. Tesla, just another pullback. Remember that double ended up, as I said, during the lunch thing, off the table. So the only bearish play I have is that break below about 720 to fill the gap. And then watching this 50 to 62.5, but also this holding up pretty well. Again, wouldn't be surprised to see, I'm bearish long term, but wouldn't be surprised to see one more push higher. For some reason, these markets really don't want to roll over yet. And that's fine. Cycles are at the top, so I'm just going to, if that double triggers, then I'll watch for that bigger pullback on Tesla. Until we get that bearish trigger, I can't get super bearish short term on it yet. The only bearish play would be for that gap fill. Mike, on the ES, would you use the high of yesterday and the lows today for harmonic retracements? Looking for a bounce? Yes, you can do that. That's fully, if you want to look for the bounce, and I'm trying not over clutter things, but see, now I'm going to over clutter. I said that, and now I'm going to over clutter things. That's why it's tough. I do a lot of this analysis on my own. It's just hard because I don't want to put too many things on. But for the This is completely valid. Now, if it goes lower overnight, you're going to want to ratchet this down. But then the key area, and look how nicely that lines up. The first key area, if we do get back above roughly about 41.21, 41.36 is a 50% harmonic, and look at the 62.5, right at this pretty decent resistance shelf. You get the close above that. Let's say we don't make a new low. You get the close above that. Then you can statistically start targeting 41.86 to the most recent highs from yesterday. Now, that's barring that another reversal pattern doesn't form beforehand. So you got to keep that in mind. If we got another reversal pattern, then we could trade that in front of that little. But those are the way you would use the retracement harmonics. That's completely valid. Oh boy, charts suggest it's going to be a very good summer, and 3 big tech stocks have nowhere else to go but up. What's 3 big tech stocks? Which 3? Told me 320, 12,300 NASDAQ. We haven't hit it yet. If we trigger this, then I will completely agree with you. Because that's the first target for the double. I would completely agree with you, but we have not hit it yet. We do have the bearish pattern. Remember, I trade with patterns. I trade with probabilities and patterns, not projections. You want Lulu. I looked at this earlier today. I don't have a fantastic play in it because cycles are at the top on the daily. They're at the bottom on the weekly. We've come up to retest this prior support area. I don't have an earnings play on it. This would be a gamble shot to me. To the upside, if it breaks tomorrow to the upside, I watch for the gap fill before earnings, and that would be to 305.48. To the downside, you have the gap fill. If they miss, you'll probably see a gap down through here. The longer term thing is if they beat, I just don't have a short. There's no strong pattern. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat to see a gap potentially to the weekly rotation zone and that 50% move of here. 330. This thing can move around pretty big with some pretty decently with some earnings. So and then I'd watch for another potential rollover play. But there's no strong pattern in here. There was just a minor divergence down here, but that's already been finished, and it's already hit the other side of the daily rotation zone and consolidating here going into earnings. So that's the only things. If the only thing I could do is on a breakout tomorrow before earnings, target the gap fill. On a breakdown, I'd be targeting these 276 areas if the market was weak. But the earnings would be to the downside gap fill if they missed. Kramer pinpointed Amazon, Facebook, parent Meta platforms, and Google parent Alphabet. All right, well, Amazon hit the second target at least on the double, so you can move up the stop or get out of it completely. Facebook, there's no strong pattern in Facebook right now. It's just chopping back and forth, riding the rotation zone down. So, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised to see Facebook go lower. The only thing is, I mean, the P/E, unless their earnings absolutely collapse going into Q2, they're trading at a decent PE, especially if it can get down to this 150 area. I'll be really watching for a longer term bottoming pattern, but They just got the Kramer kiss of death. Google. I'm watching for the lower prices. You know that because we had this topping pattern. We've only hit the first and second targets. We've popped back to the weekly rotation zone, but longer term, I'm still watching 1950, and then I would not be surprised to see this possibly return to 1800 area with the rising 200 week. Another stimulus 10K tuition waiver. Yeah, that's more inflationary pressure though. I don't want to worried about inflation. I saw this. More than 1 in 3 Americans earning at least $250,000 annually say they are living paycheck to paycheck. Then I think you're also doing something wrong. But that's a scary stat. Yeah, household expenses are getting. I mean, these are some scary stats coming out. That's why we could see a very substantial downside. It's going to be interesting. You are welcome in relation to that crude head and shoulders. 40% of high income live paycheck to paycheck. That's terrifying to me. You are welcome, Michael. That was his 3. Thank you. Yeah, we covered it. So 2 of these we already have expected lower prices. Facebook could be moderately lower, but unless their earnings really collapse, there could be a long-term buy at some point in there, but it's not yet. Hi, when's the market will bottom? Remember, the market looks ahead about 6 months. We should be in a recession the second half of this year to late in this year officially. So I would expect a market bottom longer term. We could get into a longer term bottoming area towards the end of this year or beginning of next year. It's just not yet. And timing is horribly tough. I've talked about that. Timing on systems is horribly tough. Price levels are a lot easier. For example, we've talked about the major price drop areas, on like in the S&P. So let's even say we came back down to some of these major price drop levels and we did it in sort of a rapid crash unwinding fashion. Like let's say we came down to 3150 in the S&P. And we did that in a series of a month. That's very different than if we grind down there over the series of 4 months. We could hit that same area, but one's going to put an end to, one's would be more of a capitulation move. One would just be a slow grind down. And if we get a capitulation move, we could be at the bottom. A lot of these do end in capitulation moves. We just haven't had anything close to a capitulation move yet. Howdy, Lauren. How are you doing? Do you think she left Facebook when the news broke Jimmy recommended? I don't think people are making their career decisions based off Jimmy Cramer. Big double bottom on the... Oh, BG double bottom on... I thought that was big. I was like, big double bottom in what? BG double bottom on the daily, but ag futures very weak. This I did not like. I said this to Sterling yesterday. He asked me about this one because of this double side. This rotated up a bit high. This was too sloppy. Especially with all this. This was too sloppy. I did not look at this as a double. That's why I have the harmonics up there. And ag futures, DBA, we could be getting a slight little. It did not get the close below the 62.5. But I'm watching for still a bigger potential pullback closer to down here with the weekly in the short term. I hope we will bottom in September. My earliest sign for a bottom would be mid-October. If you forced me to make my earliest sign for a bottom. September bottoms are rare. Elon's hardcore stance on working in the office versus WFH have any influence? On what? The stock price? Elon's been in mania meltdown mode. It was mania meltdown May, so we're going to see if that continues in June. There's something definitely going on from probably some illegal ramifications with him. So, and most of his tweets, we figure out later what the cryptic stuff was. By the way, back to DBA, you still do have this potential double in place. Do I think Bitcoin will go to 35K before going down, or do we go down from here? Bitcoin, what was Sterling was getting, Sterling's the next thing starting to unwind. We came up, do we think 35? If I had to bet, we'd break lower before higher. But if you want I got to still put the technicals up here. I need the close below 27,972. Now, from the bigger perspective, you see we haven't got back to that weekly rotation zone. So if you're 35 or lower first, I'd say based on all the stuff that's going on, I'd have to bet lower, but I don't have a fantastic trading pattern in here yet. Tried to do the breakout play, stalled at the first harmonic, and now reversing, basing. You know, we have so much interesting stuff going on in the crypto market with potentially things unraveling that this is almost going to turn into a shake and bake pattern too. In and then out. But I really need it to prove that it's going to break down before getting short futures or something. Do I consider the COVID lows a capitulation move? That was a capitulation move. And capitulation moves can be driven also by monetary policy and everything else, strong overreaction, and then they just dumped in the monetary stimulus and we got a V-shaped bottom. Yes, that was a capitulation move with a number of things that just hit insane levels. You're welcome, John. Again, if I have patterns, I'll let you know. This more so favors a retest of these lows and then the break, but again, can't get really short before we get below that 62.5, just because this is a lot of support in here. Watched an amazing video on him by YouTube, and it shocked me. I didn't like Bezos, but Twisty. Huh. What are you talking about? Waka Waka? Give me some more information. All right, I don't think there's anything else. Let me check in on GameStop. Because it was up and now it's back down. So, again, what are the GameStop people called? That are the holders. I can't even say it. Far parts only 2 out. Oh, an Elon. Yeah, Elon, you could get me on a rant, but you know what? Whenever I get on an Elon rant, it's never pleasant for me or the email or anything. So I try to avoid, I'll talk price action, but I try to avoid a lot of stuff because people come out of the woodwork if you say anything negative about Elon, and it makes the channel tough. So that's why I'm refraining, if you're wondering. I do have lots of thoughts on the matter, but I keep those to myself because whenever I've talked about stuff in the past, it just turns very, very unpleasant. If you're wondering my reason. Ethereum, nice rollover. I was just checking this. By the way, the Ethereum potential double is no more. It went up to a certain high. So this constitutes two bottoms over here, and this was the other bottom. If they're close together and they don't get to a certain level up with harmonics, it can be construed as one bottom. This was too big a rotation, so it's two bottoms. So the potential, remember, potential never even got close to confirming or triggering, but now that's off the table. So that could not be used for any upside moves. And this, and you can't call this a double bottom because it's part of this bottoming pattern, and it's not, it's only to be a double bottom, it would have to be reversing this move only. And the targets go well beyond that move. So you can't use it. Just wanted to clear that up. Everyone, I don't think he's a savior. He's just another billionaire who likes to cheat the rules and doesn't think it applies to him. And I wish we had an SEC that would do their job, and an FTC and a bunch of the other stuff. But again, if you bring up anything as a, yo, Elon's a victim. Elon's not a rich guy. He's paper wealthy, but he has got so much of his shares just leveraged. I mean, look at his share loans against his shares. So, well, it's far worse. He disgusts me. He has only 250 billion. Great guy. He doesn't, though. I mean, a lot of it's paper wealth, and a lot of it he has loans against it. What would be interesting is if he ever gets a major margin call triggered on his loans. That would get very interesting. I'm done with Elon and all his lies. But full self-driving, battery swaps, solar tile roofs. What do you mean all the lies? Cross-country trip, full self-driving, wasn't without touching the wheel? Huh. Well, maybe the Cybertruck will still come out. Oh well. Another failed breakup. I don't see enough money flowing in the market to break this out. Got to trade the patterns, though. Not falling for that stuff anymore. Great info as usual. Thanks a lot and have a nice evening. You too, Christoph. Get some rest. 1 million robo-taxis by 2019, but we could have them by next year. Elon is Bezos. Oh boy. Elon is, you guys, Elon is next Enron. Well, hey, everyone, I'm just reading the comments. I am just reading the comments. You know, don't blow up my email. I'm confused why my Tesla still can't drive itself. It can't tell the side of a semi from the sky still. You are welcome, Eric. Been waiting on that update for years. So have a lot of people. Biggest hoodwink in history. I guess I know why we don't have a lot of Tesla Kool-Aid drinkers. We still have people who trade Tesla on this channel. Hey, the stock is definitely tradable. But I don't think we have a lot of Tesla Kool-Aid drinkers from what I am understanding. Maybe that's my fault. Sorry. You are welcome, Wavy. Elon Cult needs to stay away from me, please. Now they're going to come after all you guys. All I did was read the comments. With that, I'm going to wrap. They don't speak during bear markets. How's Elon spell his son's name? I don't know how to pronounce that name. I don't even know how to spell it. And why you do that to a kid? Ugh. Oh, well. That's enough. So AEX12. I don't know if you'll get to 950 again. I don't know. Did you see who did Goldman lowered their target to 1,000 now? I love with these analysts, and I'm not just talking in terms of Tesla, by the way. I love when like the horse is out of the barn and running down the street, and then they're lowering the targets. So is that how you pronounce it? You just pronounce it X? No way. I don't see 950. 950, I mean, the problem is you got even the weekly. The top of the weekly rotation zone, and even if you take this last major swing, Look at that. That's so funny. Look at that. I mean, theoretically, it's not off the table. That's a 62.5 level is at 953. Do I see it? No. Because you got the rotation zone in the way. Uh, and I think the market would roll over long before it hit this area. But theoretically, it's possible. All right. So 850 or 890 max. I'm more in agreement with you, Waka Waka. And that's bullish for me. Yeah, I highly doubt 950 is in the cards, but can't hurt to hope. That'd be a gorgeous spot to short. I mean, it'd be a gift. See, the only other thing, if it got really bullish here, the only other big thing is this gap left behind to this upside. That's the only really strong pull, but that would require a lot of option juicing. We shall see. Yeah, that's where I got the level from the 62.5. Would slam dunk that one back down. Well, see, you guys are too good. You don't need me anymore. I'm just going to take the rest of the summer off. Maybe I should just come back in September. Should I take June, July, August off and come back in September? Let me know what you think about that. Maybe, you know what? All right. I need a very large number of comments on this live stream, else I might take the summer off. So you better go comment, other I'm taking the summer off unless I get a lot of comments on this live stream. Well, I'm glad you're off all of August. You're over in Europe, right? Hey, switch country August. I used to love living over in Europe. Loved living in Switzerland. Well, I love all you guys, everybody too. Guys, gals, everybody who's here. Thank you for being here. Please, again, I am joking, but please, I really want you to leave some comments. Yeah, going to Turkey. Hey, that would be fun. Country swap Europe. I love August in Europe because everybody just swaps countries. Let's go to a different one this year. How we make money if you stop trading? Look, these markets are tough anyways. I'll just sit it out and wait for the bottom. I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. Rich, we don't live paycheck to paycheck in our household. Trust me. You take the summer off and Tesla will be trading on the OTC when I'm back. Oh, well, now I can't take the summer off if you're saying Tesla's going to be on the pink sheets? All right, that dates me. Who here knows about the pink sheets? If you know about the pink sheets, that's how long I've been in the markets. You are welcome, Anissa. Hello. It could be a penny stock. Trade in the pink sheets. All right. With that, we've picked enough on Elon and Tesla. Damn, I would be shorting on holiday. Yeah, Yuaka, do you know about the pink sheets? I mean, come on. That's one step away from you don't exist anymore. When you're just on the pink sheets, that's over the counter at its worst. Oh, but think of the pump and dump schemes that happen on the pink sheets. So it's a perfect home. It's the perfect home. That's going way back. It is. That is going way back. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Again, leave some comments. Leave some comments about the pink sheets. If you don't know what the pink sheets are, Google pink sheet stocks. Read up on it, and then leave some comments for me in the comment section. With that, I will be here tomorrow morning for our market prep. I will talk to everyone later. Bye for now.